we'll take it to the Jim's Firearms Hotline and bring on our next guest, Mike Detillier. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Man, thanks for coming on. We'll have you for a segment here. We're going to talk, obviously, some Saints and your reaction to Taysom Hill right there, talking about Drew Brees and Drew Brees returning to the Saints. He never left, but his decision to play another season.
Well, it didn't surprise me with Drew. I'd heard from enough people that they strongly felt Drew would return. I think Drew didn't want to end it the way it happened, losing that game in Minnesota and the way it happened. And so I always felt he would return for another season. But when networks are offering you, $9-10 million a year to come talk in the booth and you ain't getting hit other than with a piece of paper, man, that's you got to think about it a little bit. And it's not the physical part anymore. It's the mental part with Drew. Brees trains like an Olympic athlete. But, he's always told me about, kind of what goes through his head once he decides to start training for another season is the mental part and getting himself mentally ready and understanding every little nuance of how to play the game. And, we've even seen videos. I saw it in person, but Reggie Bush posted it of him on a Saturday before a game by himself walking that indoor facility, calling plays, running it, nobody else on the field but him. So it's the mental part, the mental grind. And, and I've talked to Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, even Bobby J about it. And, some of them had some injury parts of it that made them end the career. But, their deal is, man, the mental part of this game is so difficult to kind of go each year with. And so it didn't surprise me he's coming back. It gives the Saints the best opportunity to win and be a Super Bowl contender for 2020 that he's back. And with Taysom, he understands his role. He's going to play that slot receiver. He's going to play some running back. He's going to play on special teams. He's going to run that RPO system, and I think it in a little bit more expanded role. And we'll see. I've never felt Taysom Hill would be a starting quarterback in the NFL. That's just my personal opinion. I've seen him in practice. And, with Drew, the ball barely touches the floor. With Taysom, he's high, he's wide, everything else. You're doing this against air. Again, for one more season, it's Sean and Drew. And I really wondered at one time when they first signed Drew, because I knew Sean had a strong personality. And I knew Drew did too. How it would work out. But it's worked out like white beans and rice and fried catfish for him. Man, it's worked out perfect for the Saints. And we've lived in that golden age of Saints football, 3 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl title. So ride the horse one more year and see what happens.
At Mike Detillier on Twitter, the M&D Draft Report. Speaking of the M&D Draft Report, Mike, I know you guys will be coming out with that soon. Obviously, the questions coming in the huddle, and people ask me all the time, where the LSU guys will slot. What's going on right now with Joe Burrow? Does he have leverage in that first spot?
I don't think much leverage because look who you're dealing with. You've got an older owner who really is an old school guy, and if he picks you, he's got your rights for 5 years. You don't have a lot of leverage with him. And, that owner has shown in the past he's willing to kind of sit it out with you if that's the way you want. And, again, with Joe, I wonder how much of this is his agent talking and not him talking. Because I've been around Joe long enough. Joe sort of talks in dribs and drabs. The most I ever heard him talk was when he won the Heisman. Because most of the time, he kind of gives it to you a little bit at a time, a little sample stuff of what happens. He'll always ask me, hey, tell me a nose-wrong story about when y'all grew up together. Because he wants to use it on Coach O. But, he's not a guy that gives you a lot out there. So you can hear sort of the agent talking this. I think he ends up in Cincinnati, and, it's just the way it is. But, he doesn't have much leverage, to be honest with you. The Bengals have all the cards in their hands.
Mike Detillier is our guest. Got a couple more questions for you, Mike. The other LSU guys, I mean, you're talking about 16 guys invited to the combine. How many guys, in your opinion, are going in the first round for LSU? And who's going to be the surprise out of the LSU group? Who's going to be chosen higher? I got who I think it's going to be, but I want your opinion. Who's going to be chosen higher than most people think?
I think as far as first-round pick guys, I think Caleb Vaughn. He's a potential guy as a pass rusher. He played really well down the stretch. But again, pass rushers are a premium in this league. And so I think he's got a shot to be a top 15 pick. I mean, that's how much people think of him. And he's coming off that knee injury that he had. And I thought he struggled early a little bit. But I really thought he picked up the pace late. Certainly, you're looking at Justin Jefferson, just been an unreal player. He plays high school football right up the road from me at Destrehan High School. Big, tall receiver, great hands. And, man, he's got some scoot after the catch now. People don't realize just how quick and how fast he is as a player. Patrick Queen, I think, is a complete linebacker. And it's part of an article I did this past week in that there aren't a lot of those guys still around. Him and Kenneth Murray are about it in his draft class. If you're looking at guys that can run the field well, play to run, drop back in coverage, blitz, there's not a lot of them. And Queen and Murray are part of that group. I still believe Christian Fulton will end up being a first-round pick corner. I think, so much attention was on Stingley and recognizably so. But, man, he's one heck of a football player. And he's got great size, length, can get to the football a lot of people can't get to, and certainly Grant Delpit. He didn't have a great year because of the injuries, but he's rangy. You can play him up front like a linebacker and also in deep center field. So I think he'll do a great job there. But the two guys I think will get picked pretty high in round 2. One will be Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's a complete complete running back. Runs with power, with speed, catches the ball, and he can protect the quarterback. And that's something not a lot of running backs can do today. It reminds me a lot of Maurice Jones-Drew when he came out of UCLA, and he did a really good job with Jacksonville. And Lloyd Cushenberry, the center. Big Lloyd. I wondered a little bit about him taking over for Clapp at center. But he grew into that position, great pass protector. Has gotten much stronger and has become a much better run blocker. And I think he'll go in this. Both those guys will go in round 2.
Mike, we certainly appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on today. And folks, check him out at Mike Detillier on Twitter, M&D Draft Report. Mike, how can they get the M&D Draft Report?
They can go on to saintsreport.com, MikeDetillier.com, and we'll have it out late March, first couple of days of April.
Can't wait to get my hands on it. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.